Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Rita and this is my new face, which is very odd for me to say and look at myself in the mirror or in the viewfinder. I am just a little over a month and maybe a couple of days since my surgery. I feel very different. I am going to say this and it's probably going to be very dramatic, but I regret getting my nose done. I honestly did not need one. My nose was perfectly fine. I just had a little hump, but as it is right now, a month after my surgery, I completely regret it. I wish I hadn't done it. I feel very odd, like this is my face, and I feel like the nose doesn't suit me. I know everyone, like all my friends have told me, like that have seen it, that it looks really good, that it's like a very nice job done, I guess. Like it suits me, but I still don't feel like myself. One of my friends literally told me that she cried for like 6 months after she did her nose, so just to give it time. I know that in theory it's a pretty nose and it looks good, like it's exactly what I asked him to do, so I know it's not coming from there. It's just coming from my point of view of like, it doesn't look like me and I just look very different. But I think it'll be some adjusting to do, but as it is right now, a month after my surgery, I do regret it. I wish I had not done it. And another thing that it's still bothering me a lot, I still can't smile. So also when I'm speaking, like normally you can see all of my teeth, like my top tooth or teeth, and right now you can't see them. If I try to smile, I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be very awkward. You can't really see my teeth, so that is as much as I can smile. I'm ready for Halloween. So yeah, you guys, by the way, Halloween just passed like a couple of days ago. So yeah, I feel very odd. I'm hoping this sensation of feeling not like myself will get better with, you know, the coming months or the coming time. But I don't know. I think it was a rushed decision from my side. I think that's someone who's always wanted to get a nose job, like since they were little kids, because I know a lot of girls, especially girls, grow up wanting to have a nose job, wanting to, you know, maybe they have a bigger nose or, you know, bigger hump that I had, whatever reasons, they just wanted a nose all their lives. I think, yeah, definitely go for it because that's something that you really wanted. But for someone like me, that I never really thought ever, not even like nothing ever passed through my brain, like I'm gonna get a nose job, like I want one. I never thought about that growing up, never. This idea literally came like a year ago. I feel like it wasn't for me. I know it's going to look good, and I know that the doctor did a really good job. It's not really that I don't like what he did, it's just I don't like how I look. I just feel like I don't look like myself. Another thing that I've heard a lot of people say, which I thought it was very odd, but it is totally true. Like right now I can see that, you know, the oils on my face. My face is normal to dry. After the surgery, my face is now oily, like not even normal, like it's straight up oily. Like of course right now I have makeup, I had a little bit of a highlighter there, but you can see right here around my nose and my mouth, it looks still very oily. And this is something that would never have happened, especially because that area is very dry for me. So that definitely changed. I heard that this, you know, it'll be a little, you know, couple of months that you have this kind of like more oily skin, and then your skin goes back to like your normal skin type, which it's different to have oily skin, especially after always having like normal to dry. But I'm not hating it. I actually think it looks pretty good. Like I feel like my skin looks very glowy naturally, so I'm not hating on that. I don't think I would like that to remain though. I think I'm okay with my normal to dry. So anyway, let me just go ahead and show you a little bit closer how my nose looks. There is a thing that I am a little concerned about, but the doctor said it's normal and it should go away. So my nostrils, you can see it very clearly. This one is normal and this one is just a tiny bit smaller. So I still have a couple of stitches inside, like on the very top, that are going to just fall off normally or like naturally, I guess. But I have no more stitches that the doctor had to remove. It's just the ones that are gonna fall off. So this nostril looks way smaller. Sorry that this is like in your face, but I just wanted to like give a realistic idea of what it is like to, you know, have your nose done and a month pre-op or post-op, I'm sorry. So yeah, this nostril is looking smaller. I did remember watching Jamie Page's nose job blog, and she had that concern, and I think she's still facing that. So I'm very scared that my nostril is not going to be the same as the other. Doctor said it was normal, and I'm still hoping it is, because I know that I'm still very swollen. Like everyone has told me, like the swelling is gonna go down in like 6 months to a year. So this is just a month after the surgery, so I know it's very soon to tell how my nose is really gonna look 100%, if that makes sense. So what another one of my friends was telling me is like, I need to be very patient. Like this is a long process. This is not like just do your surgery and you're done. It's gonna take months and months for your nose to go down, the swelling, for your nose to kind of like adapt and look like it's really going to look, for good. So I know that I have a long time to see that process. So let me show you so this is of course the front, and I'm not even like putting my head out. That's just like entirely looking straight to the camera. So that's how it's looking. And I think it looks good from the front. I don't know, I'm still not used to it. Now I'm gonna look on this side. That's my side profile. I did have this hump right here. I'm gonna post a picture right here so you can see how it looks. So let me get a little bit on this side, and the picture's gonna be here. So that's the side profile now. And let me go ahead and show you the other side. So I did ask the doctor, or I did tell the doctor that I did not want to have my tip super tall. Like I wanted it to be very natural, and I didn't want people who saw me on the street, or like you just met me for the first time in real life and you immediately pointed out like, oh, her nose is done, like she got a nose job. I wanted it to be very subtle, very natural, or as natural as a nose job can be. Another little thing that I did while I was under the anesthesia, I thought might as well, I got my under eye bags removed, which that I am 100% happy with. I really had very bad under eye bags. Like they were very puffy. That just runs in my family. My mom got that removed a couple of years ago, and hers were really bad. So I wanted to prevent mine to getting that bad. Granted, they were already pretty bad. You probably might not have noticed, because I feel like if you don't pay attention you might not notice, or with makeup it definitely helps, but they were very puffy. I sleep a lot, like I sleep sometimes more than 8 hours. I drink a ton of water. I mean, there's nothing really you can do whenever it's like genetics, at least for me. As much as I slept, as much as I was rested, the bags were still there and were very puffy, so that made me, I feel like, look a little bit older, and also just tired, like constantly tired. So I am so happy. I'm gonna zoom you in again so you can actually see that. So this bags were like very puffy. I have literally no bag left, which I am so happy about. You couldn't really tell with the makeup, but without makeup, and especially when I smiled or certain areas like the light hit, the bags were very puffy, and they were very easily to notice in real life, and probably even on video and pictures, if like you know what you're looking at. So they're completely gone, and I am very happy with the results. That was very easy surgery for what I understood, because he didn't even the doctor didn't even use any stitching, because he said whenever patients are younger, which I was, I guess, younger for that surgery, he just basically, I don't know what the proper word is, but he basically just burned the skin back together, so no stitches were used. So I'm very glad that happened, because I don't know how I would feel with having stitches under my eyes. Let's now talk about cost, because I know a lot of people are interested and where I got my surgery and all of that kind of thing. So I did come to Mexico, to my hometown, Tampico. So I asked one of my friends who did her surgery to recommend me a couple of doctors. This was one of the recommendations. So I went with him to a first consultation. Total procedure, including the eyes, the nose, meds, and the hospital use. I did not stay overnight. So I got in there, I think my surgery was at like 8 a.m. I think. So I had to be there at 6 a.m. like 2 hours prior. Surgery lasted around 3 hours. They did my nose first, and then they did the eyes. So total price for everything, including the medication, was around 3,500 or 3,600, give or take. I really can't remember. But yeah, that was everything for hospital, doctor, anesthesiology, meds, and that's it. Because I of course also had to pay like the post-op consultation, which were 2 of them, 400 pesos, which is around $20 around. That's not the normal price. The normal price of like a consultation with the surgeon, it's like 1,000 pesos, so like $50, something like that. So he did give me a discount for both times that I've been, the first and the second post-op appointment, and they were 400 pesos instead of 1,000 pesos. Again, this is Mexican pesos. So total was around $3,500. So give or take around 65,000 pesos. And I had 2 surgeries done. The nose and the eyes separately, I believe the nose was around 25,000 pesos. And the eyes were around 22,000 pesos. He told me he gave me a discount on the eyes because I got both things done. So that'll probably give you a good idea. I live in Houston, so Houston is very expensive for any kind of cosmetic surgery or any kind of medical bills too, for that matter. In general, the US is very expensive. But cosmetic surgery in Houston, and I know this because one of my coworkers told me she was interested in doing this, and she was giving me pricing before I never thought about doing it in the US. I knew I was gonna come home and do it just because I wanted to be with my parents. And I wanted my mom to take care of me, and of course it was going to be way cheaper. So the pricing that my coworker gave me, she said in Houston area, for a doctor that's, you know, of course a good doctor, but not like one of the top doctors, they're around $7,000. With one of the top doctors, you can get a surgery, a nose job, between $12,000 to $15,000. And I paid for mine $3,500. So you can clearly see the huge difference. And the doctor that I went to is one of the top 3 doctors from my city. I went straight with my doctor. I saw his Instagram, his pictures. I really liked him. I'll leave all his information down below in case you're interested. If you're in Mexico or in the US, you can always, of course, just fly. It'll be way cheaper than being in the US, probably even like paying hotel and plane. So yeah, I just went with him. Like the pictures, because the thing is, his pictures, you can see like his catalog of noses, or like all the people he's done. The noses vary from person to person. When I've seen other doctors that they literally do the exact same nose, and I know, like, I don't want that. I don't want my nose to look like everyone else's. If this doctor, my doctor, is giving each person what they're asking, which is what I'm assuming because every nose was different, then that's what I want. I want him to listen to what I want and to give me what I want. I'm not paying this money just for the doctor to do whatever he wants. And I think he actually listened to me, and I think he gave me the very natural look that I was looking for. To wrap this video up, I do want to mention that my stitches, so the only thing he did basically with my nose, he just cut the middle of my nose. He didn't cut the sides, and the doctor told me that whenever they cut the sides of your nose is because your nose is a little bit wider. So my nose in general is my original nose was very small. So there was no need to do that. Apparently, your nose should be the same width of your eyes. So my nose is pretty small, like my eyes. That was perfect, no need to cut. So whenever you see people have like 3 cuts, like the sides and then the middle, that's because they actually cut skin and make the nose a little bit smaller. Mine didn't have the need, so they just cut the center, and what I'm assuming is whenever he cuts, they kind of like pull it up a little bit. This is so gross. And then they fix the hump. I almost forgot, but I also had my septum really bad deviated on this side, so he fixed that as well. He like fixed the septum first, and then I don't know what he did first or second, I'm lying. So he basically fixed my septum and he removed my hump. So thinking about that makes me really grossed out because he probably just literally filed my nose, which, whatever, I was fully asleep. But yeah, so he fixed the septum just on this side was bad, to the point whenever I smiled, one of my nostrils moved a little bit more up than the other one. So I'm assuming that was the reason why that happened. Like, you couldn't really tell, but if I smiled up front, like just straight up, looking at you and I smiled, one of my nostrils went like a little bit up, which is kind of odd. So I'm assuming that was the reason why, because it was this side where my septum was deviated. So the septum got fixed, and of course the hump got removed. I didn't want my tip to be like, you know, too up. I told the doctor I didn't even want my tip to be, you know, touched. But he mentioned whenever, I'll show you some pictures, whenever my nose, before, you could tell that my tip was a little bit down. That's just because that's how it was, I guess, because also of the whole septum deviated. But let me show you real quick. There's a picture. So you can see how my nose, that little hump, and you can see the tip right there, it's a little bit down. So he said that if he didn't change that after you did like remove the hump, the nose was gonna fall a little bit more. So he said he just had to move it up just a tiny bit, and I honestly feel like he listened to me, and I don't feel like my tip is like up in the air, if that makes sense. Looking back at this, you know, month and the first 2 weeks, honestly, since the beginning, I did mention this in my previous video where I'm just like 1 week, or the week of the surgery vlog, I'll link it down below. I never really had any pain. Like, I was never in physical pain, like my nose hurted, my eyes, my head, nothing, no pain. My only very big thing was that I couldn't breathe. I was very uncomfortable. Like I mentioned earlier, I got into this without really giving much thought to it. So I didn't really think about how much I was going to struggle after the surgery because of the whole breathing thing. So to me, it wasn't worth it. To me, it wasn't something that I needed to do. I just did it, but I wouldn't do it again. Like, if I thought about it a little bit more, if I maybe had read a little bit more about it or saw more videos, I would have probably stopped myself from doing it. But now it's done, and I know that I'll probably like it at some point, I'm hoping. But yeah, no pain at all, like at all. I never had any pain. People who say they have pain, I honestly don't know why. For me, there was no physical pain. The only pain was whenever he removed my stitches, whenever he pulled those horrible things from inside my nose. That was the most painful thing I've ever probably experienced in my life. It was so horrible. So just because of that, and the fact that you barely can breathe for the first 3 weeks, I would not recommend you doing this, like, at all. I had a very hard time adjusting to the fact that I couldn't breathe. The first week I barely slept, I couldn't eat, like my mouth could barely open. So it's a lot of discomfort. It's a lot of discomfort, but no pain. No pain at all. So if you're made up your mind that you want to do your nose, go ahead. Like, of course no one is gonna stop you, but just remember that you won't be able to breathe for 3 weeks. And you never really think about that. But once you can't breathe and you're only breathing through your mouth, you realize how horrible that is. That's gonna be everything, you guys. I think I already talked way too much. This video is gonna be super long, like always. But if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I will be putting in the description box the name of the doctor, the city where I got everything done, the hospital, and pricing, of course, I already gave you. But if you have any questions regarding pricing, pain, anything, just hit me up in the comments and I'll respond to you right there. And before you leave, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It's very easy, it's 100% free, and it does help my channel a lot. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!